In this first example here, we have to multiply two fractions. So to multiply two fractions, I simply multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. And that's pretty easy. 5 times 4 is 20. 22 times 15, though, is a little bit harder to multiply. I didn't memorize my multiplication tables up that high. So I'm going to try to reduce these fractions some before I do the multiplication, and that will make the problem easier. And I look here and I see, okay, a 4 and a 22, those are both even numbers. So I can divide them both by 2. So the 4 will become a 2, and the 22 will become an 11. And then I see the 5 and the 15 here. Those are both divisible by 5, so I'll do that. When I divide that by 5, it just becomes a 1, and divide the 15 by 5, and it becomes a 3. And now, when I do my multiplication, I'm just doing 1 times 2, which is pretty easy, over 11 times 3, which is pretty easy. So I end up with 2 over 33. And I'm done. And so you see that reducing the fractions simplified the problem. And you also saw that I can reduce a numerator from one fraction and a denominator of another. And that's the case if they're multiplied together. If that were an addition sign right there, I couldn't do that. Okay, let's look at the next example. A squared over 20 times 15 over a to the fifth. Once again, I could just multiply these, but this problem will be a lot easier if I can simplify the fractions first. The 15 and the 20 are both divisible by 5, so let's do that. 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 20 divided by 5 is 4. Now the a squared and the a to the fifth, that can be simplified as well. A squared is simply a times a, and a to the fifth is a times a times a times a times a. So there's 2 a's right here multiplied together, and 5 a's right there multiplied together. And you should be able to see that the 2 a's in the numerator will completely cancel out, canceling out 2 out of those 5, leaving you with 3 a's multiplied together. So this becomes an a cubed right there. And the a squared up there, when it's gone, it basically just becomes a 1, because this a squared was like having a 1 times a squared. So you can write a little 1 up there, or leave it out. That 1 doesn't change anything. When we multiply 1 times 3 in the numerator, it's simply 3. So we end up with 3 over 4a cubed. And that's our answer. Now here we have a division problem, 4/7 divided by 3/14. The way to divide by a fraction is to rewrite the problem as a multiplication problem. So instead of 4/7 divided by 3/14, I'll have 4/7 times 14/3. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of that fraction. And so now I just have to multiply 4 times 14 over 7 times 3. But before I do that, I notice that this 7 down here and this 14 up here can be simplified quite a bit. They can both be divided by 7. So when I divide the 7 by 7, it becomes a 1. And divide the 14 by 7, it becomes a 2. So now I have 4 times 2, which is 8, over 1 times 3, which is 3. 8/3 is my answer.